Imagine walking into a room and nobody looks up. You speak, but no one responds. You laugh, but the echo is only yours. That's what it feels like, to be forgotten. Being forgotten isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a quiet absence. People walk past you. You wave. They don't see. You speak. They don't hear. You exist, but not in anyone's world. Forgotten people smile too. They work. They eat. They sleep. But something inside slowly dies. Not because the world hates them, but because the world simply doesn't see them. You don't need to be famous. You don't need a crowd. You just want one person to ask, "Are you okay?" The worst part? You forget yourself, your voice, your worth. Even the mirror stops reflecting who you were. All that's left is a shape, not a soul. To be forgotten isn't death. It's slower. It's dying while breathing, smiling while breaking, living without feeling alive. If you've ever felt this way, I want you to know you are not invisible. I see you. And so will the world one day. Share this for the ones who feel invisible, for the ones who never say they're not okay. They might be closer than you think.
I'm just a coffee mug, nothing special. But I've seen her more closely than anyone. She bought me when she moved to New York, all alone. Every night she pours tea into me, but she never drinks it. She just stares out the window, thinking of someone, maybe. Sometimes she smiles. Mostly, she cries. She talks to herself, tells me things she won't tell anyone, like I'm her only friend. I've been washed 52 times, but her sadness still lingers on me.
They called her a monster. But what if Medusa was just a girl, punished for being too beautiful? She never hunted. She never attacked. She was betrayed, cursed, and hunted like a beast. All she ever did was stand still and survive. Maybe she wasn't a monster. Maybe she was a mirror, showing the world its own cruelty. If you want to watch the full emotional story, click the link in the description or search on YouTube, Bad Time with Aslam.
We lie most to the person we love the most, not because we want to deceive, but because we fear losing what we love. Sometimes the truth feels more dangerous than the lie, but love without truth is just an illusion. If you can't be honest with your person, who will you ever be real with? Not all nice guys are actually nice. Some are just experts at emotional control. They listen, they agree, they say, "I would never hurt you." But their kindness often hides expectations, invisible deals. "I did this for you, so now you owe me." They avoid open fights but punish you silently. It's called covert manipulation, and it feels like guilt, confusion, and pressure. Real love is honest and free. If someone makes you feel guilty for saying no, they were never nice. He was dead for 7 minutes, but when he came back, he whispered something that silenced the room. John had a massive heart attack. He stopped breathing. No pulse. Clinically dead. Doctors fought hard to bring him back for 7 long minutes. And suddenly, a beep. He was alive. Eyes opened. He looked at the ceiling and then whispered, "I saw her." His wife had died 2 years ago, but he said, "She told me to come back. My kids still need me." John changed after that day. He quit his job, started helping people, said, "Life is short, love is real." He was dead, but what he saw brought him back with a message: live with love. On a freezing winter night, Emma, a poor girl with no home, sat alone on the sidewalk. She had only one blanket, old and torn, but it was all she had to survive the cold. Then she saw a street dog shivering in the corner, whimpering in pain. Without a second thought, Emma stood up and gently covered the dog with her only blanket. That night she shivered in the cold, but the dog slept peacefully. The next morning, a rich woman passing by stopped and watched the scene. She had tears in her eyes. She approached Emma and said, "You gave everything, even when you had nothing." That day, Emma's life changed. The woman took her in, gave her a home, and helped her start again. Sometimes the smallest acts of love create the biggest miracles. Kate was a poor waitress working double shifts just to survive. One day, a soldier walked in, dusty, tired, and clearly hungry. He ordered only coffee. Kate noticed and quietly paid for his meal. He looked confused. She just smiled and said, "Thank you for your service." Years passed. One day, Kate's old diner closed. She didn't know what to do. That same week, she received a letter from a lawyer. The soldier she once helped had become a successful businessman and left her a house and money in his will. One meal, one act of kindness had changed her life forever. It was a rainy morning. A young man named Daniel noticed an old lady standing at a busy crossing, shivering and confused. Without thinking twice, he ran up to her, offered his arm, and slowly helped her cross. At the end, she smiled and said, "Thank you, young man. No one has helped me in years." Daniel smiled back and walked away, not knowing that moment would change his life. Weeks passed. One day, Daniel got a call. A lawyer wanted to meet him. The lawyer told him the old lady had passed away and left everything to Daniel in her will. Voiceover, English. A house, a car, and thousands of dollars just for a moment of kindness. Never underestimate a small act of kindness. It could change your entire life.
He hadn't eaten in 2 days. Cold, tired, and hopeless, the homeless man sat on a park bench. He looked down and saw something near his feet, a leather wallet. Inside it were credit cards, ID, and a thick stack of cash. For a second, he thought about keeping it, but something inside stopped him. He walked 2 miles to the address on the ID. A tall man opened the door, shocked to see a homeless person returning his wallet. "Why didn't you take the money?" the man asked. "Because it wasn't mine," he replied. The man invited him inside, gave him food, and asked him to wait. A week later, the homeless man had a haircut, new clothes, and a job. His honesty changed his life. One act of honesty, one kind heart, one changed life.